Welcome. Today we are looking at population studies and dynamics. This is a key topic in your biology exams for SS2. Pay close attention. Let us begin. First, let me explain what population is. A population is a group of organisms of the same species living in a particular area at a particular time. For example, all the lions in a savanna form a population. All the students in your school form a population. A population is a basic unit of ecology. It is the level at which evolution occurs. It is the level at which natural selection acts. Population studies are important for understanding how populations change over time. They are important for managing resources. They are important for conservation. Understanding population dynamics is essential for understanding ecology. Now, let me explain the characteristics of a population. Every population has certain characteristics. These include population size, population density, population distribution, age structure, and sex ratio. Population size is the number of individuals in a population. It is the most basic characteristic. Population density is the number of individuals per unit area. It measures how crowded a population is. Population distribution is the pattern of spacing of individuals. It can be uniform, random, or clumped. Uniform distribution occurs when individuals are evenly spaced. Random distribution occurs when individuals are spaced without a pattern. Clumped distribution occurs when individuals are grouped together. Age structure is the proportion of individuals in different age groups. It affects the growth rate of the population. Sex ratio is the proportion of males to females. It affects the reproductive rate. These characteristics are important for understanding population dynamics. Now, let me explain population growth. Population growth is the change in population size over time. It is determined by 4 factors: birth rate, death rate, immigration, and emigration. Birth rate is the number of births per 1,000 individuals per year. Death rate is the number of deaths per 1,000 individuals per year. Immigration is the movement of individuals into a population. Emigration is the movement of individuals out of a population. The population growth rate is calculated by subtracting the death rate and emigration rate from the birth rate and immigration rate. If the growth rate is positive, the population is increasing. If it is negative, the population is decreasing. If it is 0, the population is stable. Population growth is essential for understanding population dynamics. Now, let me explain the types of population growth. There are 2 types of population growth: exponential growth and logistic growth. Exponential growth occurs when resources are unlimited. The population grows at a constant rate. The population doubles at regular intervals. The growth curve is J-shaped. Exponential growth is rare in nature. It occurs when a species is introduced to a new environment with no predators. Logistic growth occurs when resources are limited. The population grows rapidly at first, then it slows down. It reaches a stable size. The stable size is the carrying capacity. The growth curve is shaped. Logistic growth is common in nature. It occurs when resources are limited. The carrying capacity is the maximum population size that an environment can sustain. It is determined by the availability of resources. Understanding the types of population growth is essential for understanding population dynamics. Now, let me explain the factors affecting population growth. Several factors affect population growth. These factors are divided into 2 categories: density-dependent factors and density-independent factors. Density-dependent factors are factors whose effects depend on population density. They become more effective as the population increases. Examples include competition for food, water, and space. Predation also increases with population density. Disease spreads more easily in dense populations. Parasitism also increases with population density. Density-dependent factors regulate population growth. They keep the population in check. Density-independent factors are factors whose effects do not depend on population density. They affect populations regardless of size. Examples include natural disasters like floods, fires, and droughts. Climate also affects populations. Temperature and rainfall affect population growth. Human activities like pollution and habitat destruction also affect populations. Both types of factors are important for understanding population dynamics. Now, let me explain the concept of carrying capacity. Carrying capacity is the maximum population size that an environment can sustain. It is determined by the availability of resources. Resources include food, water, space, and shelter. When the population exceeds the carrying capacity, resources become scarce. The population declines. When the population is below the carrying capacity, resources are abundant. The population grows. The carrying capacity is not fixed. It can change with environmental conditions. For example, a drought can reduce the carrying capacity. A new food source can increase it. Understanding carrying capacity is important for conservation. It helps us manage populations of wild animals. It helps us prevent overpopulation and extinction. Now let me explain population fluctuations. Population fluctuations are changes in population size over time. Populations are not static. They fluctuate. They go up and down. Fluctuations can be regular or irregular. They can be caused by many factors. Changes in food supply cause fluctuations. Changes in predator populations cause fluctuations. Changes in climate cause fluctuations. Disease outbreaks cause fluctuations. Human activities cause fluctuations. Population fluctuations are normal. They are part of the natural world. Understanding fluctuations is important for managing populations. Now, let me explain the importance of population studies. Population studies are important for several reasons. First, they help us understand how populations change over time. They help us predict future changes. Second, they help us manage resources. They help us determine how many fish can be caught. They help us determine how many trees can be cut. Third, they help us conserve endangered species. They help us protect species from extinction. Fourth, they help us control pests. They help us understand how to reduce pest populations. Fifth, they help us understand human populations. They help us plan for the future. Population studies are essential for sustainable development. Now, let me explain the methods of studying populations. There are several methods. The first method is direct counting. This involves counting every individual. It is used for small populations. It is accurate but time-consuming. The second method is sampling. This involves counting a sample of the population. The sample is representative of the whole population. The population size is estimated from the sample. Sampling is used for large populations. It is less accurate but more efficient. The third method is the capture-recapture method. This involves capturing individuals, marking them and releasing them. Later, Another sample is captured. The number of marked individuals in the second sample is counted. The population size is estimated from the ratio. This method is used for mobile animals. It is accurate if the assumptions are met. The fourth method is the quadrat method. This involves placing a square frame on the ground. The individuals inside the quadrat are counted. The population size is estimated from the number of quadrats. This method is used for sedentary organisms. It is accurate if the quadrats are representative. A common exam question asks you to explain the difference between exponential and logistic growth. Here is a sample answer. Exponential growth occurs when resources are unlimited. The population grows rapidly. Logistic growth occurs when resources are limited. The population grows slowly and reaches the carrying capacity. Exponential growth follows a J-shaped curve. Logistic growth follows an shaped curve. Exponential growth is rare. Logistic growth is common. Another exam question asks you to distinguish between density-dependent and density-independent factors. Here is your answer. Density-dependent factors depend on population density. They include competition, predation, and disease. They become more effective as the population increases. Density-independent factors do not depend on population density. They include natural disasters, climate, and human activities. They affect populations regardless of size. Another exam question asks you to explain carrying capacity. Here is your answer. Carrying capacity is the maximum population size that an environment can sustain. It is determined by the availability of resources. When the population exceeds the carrying capacity, resources become scarce. The population declines. When the population is below the carrying capacity, resources are abundant. The population grows. Carrying capacity can change with environmental conditions. Let me give you a quick summary. A population is a group of organisms of the same species living in a particular area. Population characteristics include size, density, distribution, age structure, and sex ratio. Population growth is determined by birth rate, death rate, immigration, and emigration. Exponential growth occurs when resources are unlimited. Logistic growth occurs when resources are limited. Density-dependent factors include competition, predation, and disease. Density-independent factors include natural disasters and climate. Carrying capacity is the maximum population size. Population studies are important for resource management and conservation. Practice these concepts. When you have them down, move to topic 4.